it is so good to see you. Hi, honey. It has been just such a joy to have you in this course. I can't thank you enough. It's really been an amazing experience. I know it has been for me.
It has been for me as well. I mean, I think I've had such tremendous growth, but I feel like my growth is just at the tip of the iceberg. It's opened just doors for me and avenues of things like I want to learn more about, know more about.
Yeah. So let me ask you, let's start here. I want to start with, well, we've known each other. So we knew each other from before, and then you came back and decided to do my course, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And you felt like you were really more ready this time, I think.
Yeah, I'd worked on the attitude a little bit.
Uh-huh. And I know, so let's talk about where you were when you started, when you came into the course. Where were you? What was who was Rebecca, 3 months ago when she first started Emotionally Naked Dating?
I think I was very skeptical about the process.
Mm-hmm.
And even fearful
Mm-hmm.
to maybe do something new or try something that I couldn't quite figure out how it was going to work, or the mechanics of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I did it and I thought, well, really what do I have to lose by doing it? And worst case scenario is I'm no worse off than what I am. And best case scenario is it's going to be life changing for me. So
Yeah.
I went in skeptical.
Yeah. And, I think a lot of women are, because so many of you have done so much work or so many courses or read so many things about how to date and how to connect with men. And, in some ways we're so saturated with all that stuff that it seems like, what could possibly be new? Like, did you feel that? Like, what could she teach me that could possibly, that I don't know about this?
Well, I think there's really, you have access to so much information on the internet, and it's so hard to distinguish how to put all the pieces together. Like, I think you could probably go find everything, but I don't think you'd know how to put all the pieces together and how to make it actually work. Like, you might be able to find the ingredients, but trying to put them together and make it into something that's successful is a whole nother game.
Because you tried that, right?
I did. I did some coaching with you before, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that was good because it really gave me a path of what I needed to work on
Mm-hmm.
until I got to this point and I was receptive
Mm-hmm.
to the information you could provide me with.
Right. So you were really skeptical and even a little fearful when you first came in.
Yeah.
But you knew me and you decided that you were going to do it, that you were going to take that leap. What made you decide to take the leap? Like, why did you dive in?
Well, I think because from working with you, you're so kind and you're so intuitive, and I think you have such a way of helping keep us women on track. And you don't sugarcoat things, but they're not harsh either. And so for me, I know I need someone who's really going to tell me like it is.
Uh-huh.
And I appreciate that.
Because, like, isn't stubborn your middle name or something?
It is. I'm working on getting a new middle name.
We look in the dictionary, everybody, for anyone who's watching, and there's Rebecca's picture.
Yes.
I'm teasing.
Oh, I know, but admittedly, there's a lot of truth to that.
And there's, I think, also very real reasons why, you have very real reasons why. And that behavior has served you well,
It has, and it served me well in certain arenas, and it has been a huge disservice in other arenas. And so I think this course has helped me kind of fine tune and balance where that belongs and where I need to let it go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good to hear. Yay. If that's all we accomplished, I think we took great strides. Tell me about your journey.
I think that was, I think when I had the, what I forget what you called the call, the initial call with you about whether I was going to decide, and I had some time to think about it. And I really had to think, okay, so if I'm going to do this, I have to make a decision to just like go in there and dive in. Otherwise, it's pointless. And so I had made that decision to just really, okay, let's go in there, dive in, and see what's on the bottom.
Nice.
And then I can work my way back up.
Mm-hmm. And so let's talk about, like, what was it like for you to do this? Because I know it was very different than our one-on-one coaching.
Yes. I think I struggled a little bit with the self-study modules. Mm-hmm. I'm not the best here, fill out the paper kind of person. On the flip side, I found, which is funny because I'm not a group work person, but I found the group calls to be just fabulous. And I was really, really hesitant about the group calls. In fact, that was the one thing that almost made me not sign up, because mm-hmm. I'm not a group work person. And it ended up being one of my favorite parts of the class. And I've really made friends from that. And, we're working on supporting each other and holding each other accountable to what we learn as we, continue on in the process. And it just has been phenomenal as far as that.
Mm-hmm. And tell me what you loved other than the friendships that you made? What did you like about those group calls?
I think that I personally appreciate the women who are just so honest and so vulnerable. And it gave me a chance to see how absolutely endearing that quality is. And I could see if that works for me and makes me feel connected to those women, even though we're halfway around the world or halfway around the country, how powerful would it be for me to adopt that same vulnerability with someone I'm sitting across the table with? Mm-hmm. And so I think probably my biggest takeaway from the calls, apart from, learning the concept, was just the idea of how beautiful it is to be vulnerable and how much you gain from that.
Nice. And then there were the one-on-one calls. You had one-on-one calls. How were those?
Those, I loved our one-on-one time, because for me, that was just like the time for me to get down and dirty, and anything I felt like I couldn't say in front of everybody, I could say. I felt completely comfortable saying in front of you and tackling some things that I was really struggling with, and that were, blocking me. And, it held me up for a little bit, but I'm so glad I didn't quit. And, I just kind of said, well, it doesn't matter if I'm behind in the assignments. My goal is just to get past what's holding me back. And if that means it takes me 3 weeks, then it takes me 3 weeks to do that. I don't want to quit here, because that had been where I had quit before.
Oh, that's so good to hear. And I think, Rebecca, a lot of the stuff, you get access to the course forever, but you did do those first, that first month, which is the hardest part. You did the hardest work, and you did really well. Like you put yourself, like, you took time with your relationship history and your final 5, and you really, you struggled with your profile, but we got you through that. And you have a beautiful profile now. So are you getting good response? Are the guys?
The response has been incredible. Absolutely incredible. I get just compliment after compliment about what a absolutely beautiful profile, how, open and honest, what a breath of fresh air it is, how there's nothing else like that they've read. And so it has generated for me a lot of quality men.
Are you shocked that men are reading it and that they take the time to actually read it?
Oh yeah, I even told, one of the guys commented on, some specific parts he really liked about it. And I said, wow, you get bonus points for reading the whole thing. I wasn't sure everybody would read it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. It is truly amazing. And what it brings out, it's like what we put out is what we attract.
Right, right. And so, I think that has been probably one of the biggest, well, and I think my energy and my perception about how dating is.
Night and day, huh?
Yeah.
What would you say to a woman who is really struggling? Like you, she's been struggling for many, many, many years, and she is on the fence. Like, she's really asking herself, why should I do this? Why would I do this course? What would you say to her about investing in this?
I would say I've been there and I've done that struggle, and I've done that struggle for many years, as you know. And I think if you're going to do that, the course, you have to just be prepared to just, okay, I'm going to jump in the deep end of the pool, and I'm going to do it, because really, I mean, yeah, it's money, but in the long term, what you get from that, money comes and goes, but the relationships, the people, the skills, and hopefully the guy is going to last me the lifetime.
Yeah. And it's worth it, right? Like, how quickly, when you look at where you started and where you are now, what is that like to see who you were 3 months ago and where you're at right now?
It's really almost a night and day difference for me. Because I was so hesitant about doing the process and doing this. And, even though I just jumped in, the first couple of weeks, I'm like, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know,
Yeah.
and you're doing things that kind of make you feel uncomfortable at first. And then as soon as you get acclimated, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I'm doing this, because I really needed it.
Yeah. And you do go down a little bit, because you do, before you go up. But I think the speed at which you turn that corner is pretty awesome. I mean, it's awesome, right?
It is. And when you're in that part where you're kind of going down, it doesn't seem like you're going to turn that corner. You're like, oh God, this is not a good place to be.
Yes, and you struggled. We still have those old calls. If you ever want to go back and see, if you ever feel like I want to go back and see where I started, it would be so funny to have a little clip of you, like from an early call, and you now.
Yeah, it is. It's so different. And I think just the perspective, and, again, it's so freeing to have the knowledge and the skill set to navigate it.
And what about, like, how this affects the way you're feeling right now? How is that rippling out into the rest of your life?
Well, I think partly I mean, I can't keep up with the dating. I've got I've got more than I can keep up with. It's just the energy I'm putting out there on top of a fabulous profile. I mean, I send a couple texts, 2 texts, and it's like, okay, let's meet. And I'm like, no, not another one that wants to meet. I don't have time.
Rebecca, I told you they would be all over you. And I have told you this for how many years?
Okay, more than I want to count on.
But I have told you this.
Yes.
You are such a wonderful woman. You're so beautiful. You're so kind. You're funny. Men love women with a sense of humor. I mean, there are so few women who have the humor, and the sparkle that you do. And men eat that stuff up, and you have it.
Yeah, it's like nectar. I have a swarm of bees.
Do you know it was probably 2 weeks ago, maybe three, that you were just that I cyber slapped you?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's all I needed. Just one good slap.
Well, I told you, I said, I'm not going to let you come in here and invest in yourself and not do this.
No. And, one of the reasons why I went back to work with you is because I knew that you would help hold me accountable.
Yeah, because I push. Like when I know I'm right about something, even if you don't agree with me, I'm going to hold your feet to the fire because and even if it's hard for me.
Right. And that's one of the things I really appreciate in this course. I think, for me personally, that's what I needed.
I want everyone to know this woman is a nurse. She gives of her heart. She is a giver and a nurturer, but she wasn't giving it to herself. She did it for everybody else, and she's damn good at what she does. But you have to do this for you. And what you're seeing, Rebecca, is that you just took that leap. You put, with Cassie's help and my help, you reached out for help and love and support, and you let us take you over that line.
Right. And so, when I say the group was phenomenal,
mm-hmm.
I just, night and day. If you played probably my tape from the beginning call where I'm like, I don't know about this group stuff, and do I have to do those calls? To now where I would say the group calls and was one of the things that was just absolutely life-changing for me.
Right. And you couldn't just figure this all out. Like one of the reasons why a course like this is so extraordinary is because we all just want a book or we want some way to just figure it out. Yeah. And you can't. You've got to walk through it. And you have to have a person that's qualified to take you by the hand and help you get there so that you can do this faster. Right? Like if you had been doing this on your own, how long would that have taken you?
I never would have made it, Lisa. I would have stopped when it got uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I would have retreated again. And it would have been that same story my entire life. I'm almost, 95% sure, because I hadn't been able to do this at this point in my life. And I had multiple attempts. It was not for lack of trying.
Well, I am here for you. I adore you.
I am so grateful for everything, Lisa. It just, truly was life-changing for me. And, I'm just beginning to see the changes. And so I can hardly wait to see what it blossoms into.
I'm so happy. And I know it's going to be extraordinary things.